First down, Buffalo. Giant 11. Hooks. Not quite. He thinks he made it.
I'll tell you, he hits the hole about as fast as anybody. Maybe not quite in the O.J. class, but close. Watch the move he makes when he cuts back inside right here. And now when he gets here, he just explodes toward it. Otis McKinney's the one that just gets him on about the 4, and he is right on the line.
He bounced in, and it'll be first and goal from that point. Chuck Knox greeting Mr. Hooks on the sideline. That other fellow there was a fine running back in his day, Elijah Pitts.
Look at this move. And now he goes right for the iron. That's a good running play. I'll tell you, Hook's a good back.
Curtis Brown and Terry Miller now. And that's Brown. And that's a Buffalo Bill touchdown. Giants lead 7-6 now.
The third touchdown for Curtis Brown. Remember, they're going to have a lot of good running backs because Miller's going to be a great one, too. You can't do it all in 1 year coming out of a deep eye that they run in college all the time. A lot of aggressive young people. They might go for a couple of big tackles in those first couple of choices, huh?
Chuck Knox was saying they have upgraded and improved their scouting system. And if they are wise with the kind of a draft choice list they've got, they could be right there pretty soon. That's Tom Dempsey. Bob Chandler will hold for Dempsey to try to tie it at 7 apiece.
He's missed 2 extra points this year. Occasionally he misses the extra point and kicks a 50-yarder.
Yep. That's been his track record, hasn't it? But now, with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left to play in the first quarter, Rich Stadium, 7-7 between the Giants and Buffalo. Doug Coter and Emory Moorhead will be back for the Giants. That Buffalo scoring drive set up by the interception by linebacker Lucius Sanford. Bouncing and handled finally by Gary Shirk at about the 26. That's where Pisarcik and group will take over.
And Hooks, by the way, is in his 3rd year, and he's averaged 4 yards a carry since he's come out of North Carolina State.
The CBS Sports Spectacular next week will feature the Professional Karate Association World Welterweight Championship.
Aha!
The world's strongest men competition. Don't forget about that. On a CBS Sports Spectacular coming up on Saturday. Here is Pisarcik giving this time to Doug Coter, who is met right at the line of scrimmage by Dee Hardison and Ben Williams.
Notice Joe Pisarcik's got his hands in his warm-up. As soon as he made the handoff, he put them back in. It might be getting cold enough. They went into an over defense. You can see they blocked pretty well. Center Clack did, but left side of the defense just overran the Giants.
Giants 7, Bills 7. Pisarcik comes out of the huddle. Bobby Hammond and Doug Coter, the running backs. It's 2nd and 10. That'll be Hammond. Remarkable guy, stopped by Lucius Sanford, but Hammond, who they said was not big enough to play here, not big enough to play in New Orleans, but came back and has become a very dependable and good back.
What do you think he weighs? 175, about 5'10"?
The most.
You know what his specialty is collecting hats. He was telling me before the game he's got an Clint Eastwood hat that's out of sight, he said.
Weighs 175 with his hat.
With his big hat.
Miami 3, the Jets nothing. Garo Yepremian a 37-yard field goal. Big game for both of those teams, too. Pisarcik with good protection. And Bobby Hammond will have the Giant first down. Shane Nelson knocked him out of bounds.
Hammond only had 19 catches coming in, but he was playing a lot of part-time football. You can see Gravel making sure that Pisarcik had the time. Pretty smart. He's been getting out of bounds a lot, too, without losing yardage.
With the change in procedure of Giant play calling, I think you'll notice a lot more passes to the halfbacks.
And perhaps a crossing pattern or two.
Don Cockcroft, 42 yards out, ties the Rams for Cleveland 3-3. Hammond again. Cuts back inside, got 5 or 6, stopped by Mike Kadish. 2:35 left to play in the first quarter. It's 7-all between the Bills and the Giants.
Bills are jumping into an over to the strong side all the time. An over defense, meaning that the defensive tackle will move right onto Clack's nose. If you can get away to the weak side, especially throwing, you can get a little bit of open territory.
It'll be 2nd and 3, 7-yard pickup. That first down carry by Bobby Hammond. Joe Pisarcik. Hammond. First down in Bill territory. Mike Kadish again on the tackle.
Jim Clack doing a heck of a job at offensive center. One of the real good trades the Giants have made. Watch the right center of your screen. Watch Clack fire off and just keep driving. The block is not a one-shot deal with Clack. He really tries to ride him as far as he can.
Boy, that's good technique.
It sure is. Pittsburgh, they came out of there. They were perhaps the best at holding you, and you don't even know it yourself.
Kept his feet underneath. Not just a one-shot block. First down, Giants. Pisarcik's going to throw on first, or try to. Knocked down by Tom Graham, a linebacker.
El Blitzo, and nobody picked him up. And Pisarcik can take a beating, but this one really came from nowhere. Watch 55. Turner had to take the far linebacker, and there was nobody left to block number 55. That's Tommy Graham,
the veteran from Oregon. So it'll be 2nd down now, about 18 yards to go, back in Giant territory at their own 44 as the conference goes on in the Giant huddle.
It was the 33rd sack that the Giants have suffered.
Robinson comes to the left and Perkins goes right. Tight end Al Dixon on this side. Pisarcik's left, and out they go. Again, the rush was on. Broken up by Mario Clark.
Wow. Mario Clark went right through Bobby Hammond, and there was no chance to catch it. Now, Clark is a #1 draft choice. Anytime you get a cornerback that's #1 draft choice, he's a good athlete. Watch Hammond now. The ball is forced a little bit. Mario makes sure. INC.
Would you say that was timed quite well?
Perfectly. I didn't even see a flag.
That is becoming more amazing than anything else. 7 apiece with a minute to go in the first quarter. Giants facing a 3rd and 18 situation from their own 44. They give to Coder, who gets good yardage, but not enough for a first down. He gets in Bill territory to about the 44. Lucius Sanford and Tony Green made the tackle, but we'll get our first look today at Dave Jennings. First, let's look at this, though.
Here's the play. I'll never forget the run that Coder made this year against the Redskins, I believe it was. He had to run over Kenny Houston twice on the run. Always gives you everything that Kentucky has to offer. And here's the league's best punter. The conference's best punter.
Long-legged Dave Jennings, who can really hang it up there. This one, they let bounce, and it takes a Jennings bounce. Comes back to about the 11, and that's where the Bills will take it over.
A Jennings bounce, huh?
Straight out of punt, pass, and kick is Dave Jennings. 17 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Giants on a touchdown pass from Pisarcik to Dixon. And the Bills tied it. The Mixed Team Golf Championship will come next Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Participants include Hollis Stacy and Jerry Pate, the defending champions, Nancy Lopez and Curtis Strange, Donna Capone Young and Lee Trevino. That's next week. A flag is down. That was Terry Miller, the ball carrier, but a flag goes down. Ernie Jones came up to make the stop.
Looked like they had a pretty good hole opened up. They trapped Jeter, but it filled in from the far side, and I think Gregory and those people sealed it off, and they might have been held in the process by the offensive line anyway.
One of the great people in the Giant organization is a guy named John Ziegel. Trainer, companion, everything. He is missing his first Giant game in something like 30 years today.
And you know how valuable the trainer is to the
Right.
players. It's like a chaplain, huh?
Holding by the offense, number 65.
Reggie. Nope, not
Fouls on
McKenzie.
number 61 on the
John
offense.
Siegel worked with me when I was playing, which you know was a long time ago. After hours and hard hours trying to get a few bumps and bruises squared away. We wish him well. First down at the 15. Line of scrimmage 6. First and 15, I should say. Roland Hooks breaks to the outside near the 20 and still fighting. Terry Jackson, the cornerback, finally gets together with him. And Hooks is still struggling. And there are 2 or 3 other struggles going on.
Few altercations on the outside edge. It's a heck of a play to finish the first period on.
That's the end of it. Dan Lloyd in that scrap, number 54, with Curtis Brown. We'll be right back. And after they quit butting each other, they embraced and made up right here on CBS.
That's right. And the next time they lock horns, Lloyd will get him another rap, right?
Remember, you saw it on CBS.
And no flag. That's part of football, isn't it?
Cleveland 10, Los Angeles 3. Ozzie Newsome, the Browns' #1 draft choice. That touchdown. Joe Ferguson gives to Hooks. And again, they struggle. Close to a Bill first down. It's 7-7. Left side of the Giant defense made the tackle.
Bills have only had the ball a little over 4.5 minutes. The Giants have had it over 10 minutes, but the interception and the run back was a blow indeed.
Brian Kelly made that last tackle. Chuck Knox, the Bill coach, is shuttling the running backs, Roland Hooks and Terry Miller. Bill fans are enthusiastic. And they've got a future to be excited about. Ferguson. That's Miller. And Terry Miller, stopped by Brad Van Pelt. But Miller, their #1 draft choice from Oklahoma State.
Now this,
Excuse me.
that's all right. This is sort of from a college formation, the deep eye. Now his longest run so far has been 18 yards from the line of scrimmage, averaging 3.5. But you said it earlier, Pat, you really have to make an adjustment between the college run and the pro run.
The people seem to get there quicker, and when they get there, they're stronger.
They certainly are.
13:44 left in the first half, and this would be Curtis Brown. Off to the right side, Gary Jeter led the Giant defensive charge. And as Tom Brookshire said earlier, he has developed into quite a defensive player. George Martin helped out, the leading sacker for that Giant defensive unit.
Now we'll probably see Ferguson put it up. He's a 55% passer and a very careful thrower. He is not an easy guy to intercept. You got to play good defense to pick it off.
In that year when Ferguson came into college football, the 2 most highly recruited players in Louisiana were Joe Ferguson and another quarterback that's done pretty well, Terry Bradshaw.
Oh.
Miller again, and he is near a Bill first down. He might have it. Ernie Jones, the safety man, had to make the tackle along with Harry Carson.
Looks like Reggie McKenzie and company do a pretty good job. McKenzie's going through on the linebacker, and he cuts Lloyd off, and Miller ran right behind him. And Reggie McKenzie is still quite an offensive guard. We understand this may be his last season here, that his contract runs out, but his legs sure haven't.
I would think that there would be a serious effort to keep that man here.
He runs about he used to run a 6'4", 60 at 250 pounds out of Michigan.
Short yardage situation now as the Bills bunch up. So do the Giants. Roland Hooks has the first down for Buffalo, stopped by Brian Kelly. You know, as we go from city to city, you see some pretty good ballparks, and this one ranks right up there with all of them, doesn't it?
I tell you, really, it's sort of just out in the country. It's a nice part of the state of New York. It's really pretty up here.
Seats just a little bit over 80,000. Not all of them here today, but some spectacle.
I think I'd like to be up here in June, though, or July. I bet it's really beautiful.
Today is not bad. 25 degrees, but a bright sunshine and no snow. Somebody jumped and flags go down. But Miller breaks into the Giants secondary. Terry Miller to the 34. Stopped finally by Otis McKinney.
Looked like Mendenhall made a quick move, again getting caught trying to get back on the line of scrimmage. Ferguson and company just ran the play. Boy, Miller came out of nowhere with that one.
Did he? That's twice they've done that. When flags went down, they continue to run the play. And as a rule, Thomas, I think that's a sign of pretty good coaching.
He's the all-time Big 8 rusher. Now think of all the people that you've heard of coming out of Oklahoma and all. Well, he came out of Oklahoma State.
Offside. Penalty is declined. First down.
Look at this cut. 196-pounder, a #1 draft choice. A lot of people think the Bills wasted one. I don't think so. I think he's going to really come along.
The way he's looking now, they're proud to make that choice. Terry Miller has carried it 4 times for 45 yards. That won't hurt much.
Let's go!
At the Giant 33, score tied 7 apiece. Buffalo Bills operate. Curtis Brown cuts back inside and gets 4-5. Stopped by Harry Carson, the middle linebacker.
They're expecting that good Giant defensive line to perhaps over pursue, and they're trying to look for ways to cut back against it. That time Curtis didn't have as much good fortune as Miller's had.
This is artificial turf at Rich Stadium, and it's wet, which they tell us is the best way to have it.
It's the safest. Yep. Once in a while you'll slip, but you won't have the bad knee injuries and what have you. That's what I'm told.
Straight away on the 30. Second down, Buffalo. And 7 they need. Joe Ferguson, the quarterback. Terry Miller and Curtis Brown, the setback. That's Miller. And again, he gets 4 or 5. Starting on the right side and carrying 4 or 5 defenders. Jeter led the charge for the Giant defense.
And Patrick, he's not trying to break every play for yardage. Watch him put his head down on this. Again from the deep eye. Ferguson takes it back. You can see the blocking Devlin up front. Watch him put his head down here now and decide, I'll try to get the sticks. That's a good back.
Good block in front of him from his fullback, Curtis Brown.
He must be able to block. They gave up on Braxton, who is a truck back there, to let Ferguson Brown work.
That alone is pretty good credential. Third down 3, Giant 26. Motion Chandler, dropping Ferguson. Intended Chandler. Knocked down by number 23 in the Giant defense, Otis McKinney, who's coming on.
Got a flag. Looked like they may have been holding. I think Jeter was putting a little pressure on, and somebody lost their technique momentarily.
Normally, under that situation, you wouldn't take this penalty, but they probably will now to get Dempsey out of range.
Who made that play on defense? That's a pretty good stab out there. Was that Otis McKinney?
Yeah.
It's the Colorado boy, huh?
I thought it was Colorado.
Well, once in a while. He's actually making his first start, though, at safety for Johnny Simak, and that's a tough place to pick up in a week and start in.
Holding by the offense, number 70.
Red Cashin's voice.
The right part of your screen, number 70 is Devlin, who did the holding. Let's see who he managed to tangle up with. I think it was Martin he was holding. Well, that's a good play by McKinney.
Just to run down the rest of the officiating crew. Art Demas is the umpire. The head linesman is Ed Marion. Line judge is Tom Dooley. Back judge John Fouts. Side judge Nathan Jones. And Bill Kingset is the field judge. All of a sudden, clouds make an appearance as Ferguson drops back. Picked off by Terry Jackson. And he kept him in bounds. The Giants will take over.
And kept the ball.
Intended for Bob Chandler.
Remember, the first one he picked off against Tampa Bay was a touchdown. He really hasn't had many chances for interception since. This is number 5 for Jackson. A big one and good coverage.
Heck of a play.
My wife got the house, but I got the Sony.
Darn. I thought they were going to give me a Sony.
Most people feel very special about Sony Trinitron Color TVs, probably because Sony Trinitron Color TVs are very special. You see, it's not just a TV.